Welcome, everybody. So great to see each and every one of you. It is Sunday, December 21st, the first day of winter solstice, or the day of winter solstice. I can't speak right now. The first day of winter, which is the winter solstice, which means it's the shortest day of the year. Got it out. Wow. All right. So we're so glad to have you with us on The Master's Mind. And we're just really happy because we got a really nice message as we head into the holidays. Actually, tonight is the last night of Hanukkah, and then, of course, this coming Thursday is Christmas. And and then the following Thursday is New Year's. So this is just a holiday time. And if you do celebrate Kwanzaa, I forgot about that, Kwanzaa also, and Festivus. So, happy Christmahana Kwanzaa, whatever it is. Anyways, no, it's happy Festa Christmahana Kwanzaa. That's what it was. I remember that from last year. So that covers them all. Anyways, so we're glad to have you with us on today's Master's Mind. And, before I give it over to Robert, Terry, you did an incredible job at selecting today's vibe of the day because it's really perfect for Sunday and for the Master's Mind. So I wanted to give it up to you as well for sharing this, and then of course we'll get started. But here is the vibe of the day if you haven't seen it yet. You've got to start thinking like you're blessed, talking like you're blessed, and acting like you're blessed. That's how your blessings get started and activated. So, bless you, Terry. Thank you very much. And blessing each and every one of you as we get started with the Master's Mind. So let's go ahead and do that. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Terry and Robert Hollis.
Thank you, Craig, the hostess with the mostest. And hello, everyone. I see Dustin join, and David and Shelly, Melody and Donald, of course, Matthew and whoever's hanging out back there. And Scott, Dana, Mary, Lisa Marie, Deb, Deborah, Mike and Trish, Sandy, Sarah, and Bill Shoemaker. And now we got Dr. Magula. He just joined. He's from Nigeria. We got Arthur as well. So what I'm going to share with you guys today on the Master's Mind is going to be so obvious. And again, I'm just a human being. And so because it's obvious, I forget it. All right. Now, on a scale of 1 to 10, how important do you guys think stories are? Right? And so when you think about it, Matt being on here, whether you're talking about a book, a really good book, or you're talking about a screenplay or just a normal play, you're talking about a movie, a lot of songs. If you really, really think about it, everything that we do is wrapped around stories. Stories, without a shadow of a doubt, are it. And some people, was that like are it? Is that okay, Dana? Is that proper grammar? Are it? And it's like, so one of the things that I was just, pondering is that I was sharing this with Terry. And a lot of you, if you've ever gone, any of you, to a church service, right? Or some kind of message where it's like a pastor or a priest or a minister or a bishop or whoever's, a rabbi. One of the very unique things is people are really good at delivering a message if they're really good at telling a story. And what I was sharing with my wife is, you either hear someone tell a story or you yourself, you read it and then it impacts you. So now that I've made this new commitment for me to go back through the Bible, I now am exposed to stories that just seem to make a bigger impact on me. Does that make sense to any of you? And so, someone else can tell me the story, but like a joke or something like anything like that, it's so amazing how people either put their spin on it, they're looking at it from their perspective. There's a lot of stuff left out. How many people have heard us talk about the whisper down the lane, right? Where you hear, all this stuff. And one of the things that in all the years that I've had Matthew as a son, which is an incredible gift, is me and him will talk about stories, right? And what a story is supposed to do is it's supposed to sort of bring you into it. Now, for some of you, if you've ever been around a good movie, a good book, a good story, how many of you sometimes can feel like it sucks you in? You got a really good author, a really good screenplay, a really good director, really good actors, right? And they can actually pull you in the story. And so if all of you are hearing me, you're going, yeah, movies affect me, poems, some people are really, Jamie, I haven't seen Jamie in a while, but really good with poems. And it's like the whole concept is for you to basically, be involved in the story. So during this time between now and the rest of the year, part of the Christian story is this is like the beginning of the greatest story ever told for some people. For others, it's like, it's not part of the story. But what's really unique is how interesting that Matt and I have talked about of how great a story can be, and it can just pull you in, like, a hero's journey. Correct, Scott? You picked that up as I was saying it on the right Wi-Fi, spiritual Wi-Fi here. And so when you see stories, then we're supposed to learn from those stories. So like, the stories of the sower's seed, the parable, you always see these proverbs and you see Psalms and you see these stories are supposed to be ways that we can not only remember things, but so also get the aha moment of what is actually being taught. So in a hero story, it's really, really powerful because, whether it's the Karate Kid, I don't know if you guys can see that, but that's a actual picture that's signed by Mr. Miyagi. and it's like wax on, wax off, right? And so the reason that I'm bringing this up is after this really, really resonated with me, I was going, wow, I told my wife, virtually every sermon, every message from any priest, pastor, anything is these individuals are good. If you've heard a good sermon, is they're really good at reading the story, maybe meditating and really getting into the story. Hi, Trish. Hi, Mike. I don't know if I said both of your names. And and then what they do is they tell that story to a group of people. And I went, not saying that I'm just thinking this, and is wow, if you are really into, listening to people tell stories and then also reading the Bible and pulling the stories out, you should pretty much have an exciting story every Sunday. Of something that relates. Now, how many of us would agree there's good storytellers and then there's bad storytellers, right? It's like, you can have one person deliver a story and then another person deliver a story and it doesn't really resonate. And the reason that I wanted to bring this up to each and every one of you is that it's really, really important that if you're going to share your message with somebody, that again, enthusiasm and thesis, being God within that little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, is that when you're telling people your testimony or you're telling someone, the way that you see a story within the Bible. It's like, don't you think you owe it to yourself to today where we live in a very, in my opinion, the most blessed time in the world, where if I wanted to listen to a message about, the story of the talons, right? If I wanted to listen to, the story of the birth of Jesus Christ, or if I wanted to listen to a story about, Easter, if I wanted to listen to a story about anything, that I could find someone online through YouTube that did a really good sermon on that story. The nether place that you should take, though, is why wouldn't you read the story? And before that, just simply ask for, again, I'm telling people all the time, ask, but just ask God to reveal them himself, to give you evidence, to pull things out of the story that will resonate with you. And a really good storyteller is when that happens, then they can also tell you a story about their testimony. Are you guys hearing me? So you listen to the story, and then you're going like, "Wow, this really, really is relevant to this situation that happened in my life." So how many of you guys now know some of the greatest storytellers are not only telling you stories with enthusiasm and excitement, but they're also telling part of their personal testimonial of how they dealt with the same thing that's in that story. Is this resonating with any of you guys? Right? And so the reason that I say that is that when I look forward to who I am, it's my ability of getting excited about my life and then learning. I love learning, and then I love sharing those stories. And so you guys have been around me long enough where I call them downloads. But while I'm talking to people, I get these perspectives, I get these thoughts, these analogies, these parables that I can share with people, and they just go, dang, wow, I'll never forget that again. And let me share with one of those with you guys now. So one of the things is, how many of you, regardless of what we've taught and been a part of, how many of you always still feel that you really struggle with your passion and your purpose, right? Like, what's your passion? What's your purpose? What's your meaning of life? What are you supposed to be doing? Right? Because when I found this entrepreneurship, again, I was 27 years old. I was an auto mechanic, but I do remember just going, "Oh my God, is this all there is?" Wait a minute. I'm working hard. There's so many people that said they wish they were on track to be a crew chief. That's what I was doing. I was working on professional race cars. I was checking off all the boxes. And at 27 years of age is when I sort of went, my God, I did everyone lie to me? Is this really all there is? Am I just supposed to be doing is, like I could say now, master the mundane? It's easy to master the mundane when you have an imagination of something that you could do for you and the people that you loved, you guys being part of that. It's easy for me to stay excited. But if you've ever lost your passion and your purpose, let me share with you a concept, right? So if we were all standing in a circle, again, probably do that on recess, right? Craig yells out recess, we all go outside, and we're all sitting there. And I want you all to imagine that we're looking at the ground and we see a bunch of ants, a bunch of ants around an anthill, right? And so what I do is I take a cookie, and about 4 feet away, I throw the cookie on the ground. And as soon as I throw the cookie on the ground, you actually can see the ants changing in the way that they do stuff, right? And it's because the ants either smell or feel vibration, but they sense something. How many of you following me right now? They sense something. But when we look at it from our perspective, we see the cookie and we see the ants, and they're both live time. They're both in the present. We see the cookie and the ants in the present. But the ants have to sense it in the future. they can't see the cookie. They can sense it's there. Am I losing anybody? And if we keep watching, a couple of the scouts will head out with their feelings, with their senses, and they'll find it. And then they'll come back and they start leaving these little crumbs on their way back. And then all of a sudden the whole team can get in on it and they can go devour this cookie and bring all the parts of it home. Are you following me? So it's easy for us to watch it live time, and we can see that the cookie's there before the ants can see it there. They have to trust on their instincts. They have to trust on their sense of where it's going. Now, let's talk about us. Let's talk about you. When you don't feel you have a purpose or a passion, it's because you're thinking. I'll say that again. If you don't feel you have a purpose and a passion, it's because you're analytically trying to think, am I on the right track? But from God's perspective, everything's in present tense, just like it was us. They're looking and going, Sandy, all you got to do is move toward it. Trust your instincts and move toward it. And bam, it's going to happen so fast for you. It's going to blow your mind. And you're like, but I can't see it. Oh, what's the definition of faith? Faith is, moving towards something or saying something that is not as if it was. And so from God's perspective, every one of us, if we would follow what we felt long enough, it would appear for us. Because every story that you read in the Bible, it's like everyone thought, I'm not enough. Why me? I'm so stupid. Why doesn't he pick somebody else? And I was telling, my wife, the whole story behind David and Goliath. So, so his brothers, David's brothers, are out there fighting this war. And all of a sudden they hear a bunch of thumping, which is somebody walking. And here's Goliath, this 10 plus foot tall warrior. And then when everyone's seen it, could you all imagine everybody going, we're in trouble? You know what I mean? Oh my God, we're in trouble. And so it says that David, all he was doing is bringing his brothers something to eat while they're fighting this battle. And so when he gets there, he senses it. What's wrong with you guys? And they're going, look at the giant. And David's thoughts are, yeah, but I have God. I'm not worried about him at all. And then he gets made fun of. This is a common theme that, the story in the Bible is how small David was. David was such a small man that his brothers looked at him and said, the last place you need to be is on the battlefield. Right? And I was telling Terry this story, and it's like, so they're like, what are you talking about? And so, like a lot of people that are misfits on Misfits Island, He's not scared. He just looks up and says, I'm listening. I'm surrendering. Hanai, here I am. I'm listening. And it's like, pick up three smooth stones. Why three? You guys will always notice in the Bible when it tells stories is that there's always a meaning for the other two shots, right? So they're like laughing at David. He picks up one stone, gets his slingshot going, wham, lets it go, and it hits this giant in the breastplate, right? And so what does everyone do immediately? Well, one part of the army is like, oh my God, you're going to piss him off. He's going to kill us all. And the other side, Goliath sees the stone, looks at it, sort of like does his shoulders like giggling. And that whole side of the army's going, what's happening here? Again, the second stone. It just gets worse, but now Goliath is mad. Right? So now he is going to go do and kill everybody, including David. If you know the story, the third stone hits him right between the eyes and knocks him out. Knocks him out enough for David to go to Goliath, take his sword, and take his head off. And then hold his head up. And it's like, so the first two shots, how many of you, have faith and then you try something and it doesn't go very well? It's like, hey, listen, all right, I'm going to listen to Robert. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to, talk to some people. And then all of a sudden you don't get good responses. They're not replying. They're reaching out to you about a different opportunity. They're being mean. I'm going to turn you over to the FBI. And it's like, it's always that everyone that goes, in the stories, it's always seems like it doesn't happen on the first attempt. It's like everyone's watching the story and they're all going like, see, it's like their thoughts came true first. So this little guy with a slingshot is going to kill this giant. So it like sets us all up that, we go, and then what? What happened? And so if you guys know the whole story, that little guy becomes king. King David. Why? Because he took out the giant. He wasn't scared. And he just went, listen, I'm going to ask God what to do. And then I'm actually going to listen and I'm actually going to follow. So for all of you that like still struggling, I don't know what my purpose is. I don't know what my passion is. I don't know, what I'm supposed to do. It's really simple. It's very, very simple. Is the two things that you should constantly be doing is getting this connection with God and learning to trust that connection and asking and then following that lead, learning to follow those instincts. Do any of you ever felt like once maybe in your life that you got a good instinct to do something and it ended up being something that was exactly what you were supposed to do? I believe that if anyone really took the time, hi, Bob, hi, Rebecca, I really believe if anyone ever took the time to really look at their entire life, you get to this place where you sort of have these things that are guiding you. And what most people do is they second guess those things. See, that's when you go, I think I should do this. And you go, no, I shouldn't. For some of you, you might know this, but I need you to know that, me right now being involved in Immunitech is my 20th company. Why would I continue to do this? Because for me, once I was led to an individual that taught me that I could make above average income and help other people, that's all this business model is for me. It's a way for me to introduce other people to a way of making extra money. And then on top of that, being able to retire their spouse. I love this business model. And the reason that I tell people I love this business model is because it's sort of like based like any other thing. It's like when the disciples are told to go out two by two. A prophet's not welcome in his own hometown. How you promote and edify somebody else's story instead of your story. Right? So there's all these common denominators through me looking through my whole life on my relationship with God, where this industry works very well for me. But never have I ever been connected with a company that had this documented of a product. It's like when Matt first put that video together for me and that we all use, and he called it the God molecule. I just thought, wow. And it's like, if you believed in it the way I do, if you believed in the business model the way I do, if you believe in the product the way I do, then you would spend all day, every day introducing it to other people. It's like, speak to those that have ears to hear. Now, here's the place that people don't like, is they don't like how many people they got to go through to find the right ones. Me, I knew that was the deal from day one. I knew immediately that a majority of the people would say no. But I don't care, right? So now, going back to telling stories, is if you're not a good storyteller, then you got to get people in front of a good storyteller. And I just want to throw it out here on the master's mind. If you are good at telling your testimony, then everyone's going to listen. If you're not good at sharing your testimony, then everyone won't listen. They'll just ask you questions. So me and Matt were talking all the time is, I know a lot of people, me included, are not comfortable with sharing their beliefs about a God or a creator. And the reason that people don't like witnessing, telling other people about their story, is because they don't feel their story is good enough. They don't feel like they're enough. They don't feel like they've done anything. Right? I'm not good enough. You know, when people look at me and they go, man, you know, it's like we conjure up all this stuff in our mind and we don't go out there and tell the story, our testimony. So what can you get good at? You can get good at telling everybody else's story. Right? So I've shared this before, where I can reach out to anybody and share with them, you know, very simple things. Like I can reach out and say, hey, David, you got a minute? And he's like, sure. I go, David, listen, I connected with this guy and I'm telling you what, he's made me feel like I'm like one of the best people on planet. He introduced me to things that make me feel like a miracle. He really encourages me. He makes me feel like a human being. And he's teaching me how to never have to worry about money again. I would like to introduce you to this guy. His name is Scott. How many people want to meet Scott? And if you have enthusiasm and exciting when you're explaining who Scott is, then David can't wait to meet Scott because of my ability to be excited and also share with enthusiasm this person I want to get connected to Scott. Now, if David immediately goes, well, what is this all about? I promise you, you'd rather hear it from Scott than I. What is this? What do I got to do against Scott? Let me make sure I get, Scott's done some videos and I can get a video to you first so you can see how incredible this guy is. He's on the leaderboard. And you guys, when you really, really can get this part down and not make you a part of the deal, I promise you, magic will happen. It's just that a majority of people, ego, edging God out, they believe that they need to learn the information so that they can do their best to educate other people. And, how is that working? So when I got in this industry and learned that I could be Bobby the auto mechanic with no really good education, and I could very simply edify and promote somebody else and get those people in front of them, magic happened for me. And so how many of you think that's the same way when you're talking about God or Jesus? See, a lot of you are like, the reason I'm not going to say anything to anyone is because as soon as they ask me, well, tell me how Jesus has made a change in your life. It's like, ain't got anything for you. It is just like the Immunical. If you're looking at, me and Terry watched David Letterman, and it was Justin Bateman. Jason Bateman. Do you guys know that Jason Bateman never even finished high school? How many people think that's a good story? It's like he just said, listen, I didn't see, they said
started working at 10.
Yeah, started working at 10. David Letterman said he did some like national commercial for like Kellogg's or something like that, cereal, and he was making 30,000 a year when he was 10 years old. He just said, I didn't see any reason that I needed a high school degree. So I think that all of us would say, wow, that's a pretty good testimony, right? And so I just want you guys all to know that each and every one of you can get so good at edifying and promoting somebody else that's good at telling stories. And here's what I'll leave you with, because I don't want it to be too much about business. But, when I post stuff, it made me realize that if I post a video about a doctor winning the Pulitzer Prize, and he dedicated a whole chapter of his book to Immunical, our product, right? Or it's this doctor, or we're in the PubMed.gov with 190,000 scientific papers, or we have patents, or we have, it's in the physician's desk reference. We have 100 plus athletes that endorse it. I know you guys have heard all these things, but do you guys think that I might be a little better than you and edifying someone that talks about those things? Huh? So when I reach out to people and I'm going like, man, this is going to blow your mind, Trish. I can't wait for you to watch this video. The amount of documentation that this company has in the product, you're just going to be blown away with this video. For those of you that know me very well, do you think that I write that out, or do I say it in a verbal? Because you can feel it more when I'm saying it with my mouth. And would I touch on some of those things? Yeah. It's like, hey, Mike, when I send you this video, they got patents. It's a most documented product. They got these athletes. See, I'm touching on little tiny parts of it, but I'm doing it because the height of my enthusiasm is getting Mike excited enough to want to watch the damn video. Do you guys get this? And it's like, so if you guys are doing the same thing that you think I'm doing, and it's like just in typing, and it's like, check this out. And you're like, I can't get anybody to watch the video. No, I can get people to watch the video. But I also can get them to watch the video and they're excited to watch it. Do you guys get what I'm saying? So that's difference in what you got to do. So it made me thought, for some of you that really want a challenge, is what are some of the videos that you could say a short, less than a minute before the video to get people excited to watch the video, right? So if you guys have heard me, I didn't realize that I was doing this. This is more the unconscious, competent part of me. But people are going like, what are you involved in? And I'm going, man, have you ever heard of this? I get to promote a video of a doctor educating other doctors on this product. It'll blow your mind. Did I say who the doctors' names were? No. Did I say what they were talking about? No. But you guys got to check this video out. And it's like people are like, well, damn, go ahead. Send me that video. So if you just talked about highlights and stuff, could you actually say a little bit, maybe in just seconds, about a testimonial? See, I'm just telling you guys, I didn't realize that I do this. And it's like, hey, Jane, have you seen this golfer? She talks about this video, and it's amazing how great this product is for golfers. Shing. So, and it's like, I wasn't aware that I was using my excitement, enthusiasm, saying a couple of seconds to somebody before I sent the video that made them go, I'm watching this video. Did that help any of you guys? So that's all I have for today. You have anything to add? No. But stories are important. Stories are important. And me and Matt always have talked about, a really, really good story. It hit me, and then I'll let you guys go. You got to be the teaser before the story. So how many of you guys, if you guys have been around Matt, you're in trouble in a good way. Because Matt's like, oh my God, you got to check out this trailer. Oh my God, look at this trailer. Oh my God, look at this trailer. If Terry and I are in the same room and there's nothing to do, Matt will pull up whatever we're watching and he just starts going through all the top trailers that he likes. Watch this movie. Watch this trailer. Watch this trailer. Watch this trailer. What is a trailer? Isn't it highlights of the whole movie? Do you think it's the best highlights of the movie? Not being mean to trailers, but how many of you have seen a trailer on a movie or a comedian and that was all you needed to see, was just the trailer, because the rest of it's awful. But the trailer did its job. And so I love and appreciate each and every one of you. I know a lot of us will be, seeing each other along this week. Craig will talk about it. But don't ever forget how much I love you and how much I appreciate you. And each and every one of you, regardless of what you believe, you got to trust the instincts of your senses. It's because as soon as you get in your head and you start saying, okay, head, what am I passionate about? Your head's going to go, do you know how big of a loser you are? I mean, seriously, how freaking old are you? You're 63 years old and you still don't know what your passion is? You still don't know what your purpose is? See, that's your mind and Dino kicking your ass. Right? Why not, God, in the name of Jesus, please tell me what my will is. Tell me where to go. I'm going to follow your guidance and I'm going to follow your help. And just move in that direction. Just move in that direction. Just move in that direction. Because if you start moving in that direction, then you took action that was based on faith, and then the rest of your story will be revealed. You got to ask and move toward your instincts of what you need to do. And I normally tell people, I already know what your passion and purpose is. It's the only way to greatness is the service of many. So I love you guys. Have a great day. And Craig, over to you.
Oh my goodness. What an amazing message today. Everybody agree, right? Yeah. So, replay will be up here very shortly, as well as some of the links that we've shared. If you want to get those links now, if you're watching us here on Zoom, click on the three dots next to the meeting chat, and then click on Save Chat. It will download to your computer once we conclude. If you're watching the replay, go into the classroom and look under Master's Mind, and then we will go and the links are there. So, Mike, I don't know what it was you were showing. Okay, well, we'll catch up on that later. Anyways, so coming up this week, we've got, of course, tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 Eastern, Recess! And that is a great way that the community gets together and just chats. Whatever's on our minds, that's what comes out during recess. It's kind of our way to play here on our Unlimited Wisdom community together. So please join us for that. All our other events take place at noon Pacific, 3 Eastern throughout all the entire week. So on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, we have Daily Wisdom. On Thursdays, normally, we have breakthroughs. Now, of course, this Thursday happens to be Christmas. So we're going to take the day off. But get ready, because we got breakthroughs coming up. And then Saturdays, we've got Ask Us Anything, and that's now on a premium plan. So please make sure that you check out what's on the premiums so that you can join us for Ask Us Anything, as well as breakthroughs, by the way. And we have that posted, pinned to the top of the Unlimited Wisdom community. Check that out. And then, of course, we're right back here next Sunday. Everybody's available to watch the Master's Mind, or should I say, the Master's Mind. So, there's our schedule for the upcoming week. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow, of course, and every other session that we have here in Unlimited Wisdom. And we got to say thank you to each and every one of you for being here, for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us. Because without you, this community would not exist. And we love and we appreciate each and every one of you. And we value each and every one of you. So as we wrap up, I'm going to go ahead. I'm figuring out some of the little new tricks that are part of Zoom. One of which I found out is the unmute button. So there we go. Let's all unmute and say so long and have a fantabulous day.
Bye.
See ya. Thanks so much.
Long.
Thanks,
Love you.
Robert.
Glad you're back.
Bye.
Dr. Magula, Dustin, Shelley,
Love and appreciate you.
Ezra,
Everyone,
Hannah,
have a great day.
Rebecca, Arthur, Dana,
Nice that you're home.
Michael and
Very
Angela,
Great
Daryl,
day.
David, Jane,
Hey.
Scott, Mike, Trish, Deb, Sarah, Bill Shoemaker, and of course, CJ, Craig, the hostess with the mostest.
Have a blessed
Love you
day.
guys.
Love you guys.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
GTFN.